was going to be you.
All right. Hopes that Jerry shows up. Let's start. Welcome, everybody, to the February meeting, commission meeting. So we got a review of the previous minutes. Anybody have any issues with the previous minutes? Do we want to make a motion to accept the meeting minutes?
I'll make the motion.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Opposed? Okay. Old business, discussion qualifications and approval process for course instructor. This was tabled from January. Do you want to come back to this, or? All right, we'll come back to that one. All right.
Yeah, we probably should come back to that.
Okay, so let's just jump into the courses. Let's get those over with right now. I kind of looked over the courses. I didn't see any issues with anything, any of the IDEC, the AAL 1186, the review case studies, and I didn't see anything wrong with the ones that have no AQB or ADEC approval, 1185, 1187, and 1188. Did anybody have any issues with any of those?
No.
Somebody want to make a motion to accept all the courses as presented?
I'll make the motion.
Somebody want to second it?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Aye.
It was an aye. It was a late aye in there, but it was an aye. All right, so no issues there. Okay, so now we're going to go back to before we get to new business. We'll just jump into new business. You ready? Eric Michelle, RCG 424 requests 4 hours of. First of all, before we get into this, is Vicky here? Vicky and Debbie. So
yes,
I'm assuming that these people are submitting these courses for approval for the current cycle that was just supposed to be uploaded as of January 31st.
yes. Mm-hmm.
That is correct.
In the past, when we had a regular date of May 30th, I don't recall April 30th, thank you. I don't recall anybody ever coming in after April and requesting for approval for courses for that previous cycle. Has there been a precedent for this before?
Not that I know of, but this is all new, and I wasn't sure, so I put the request on. Since you guys would have to give approval, yay or nay, anyway, so I just put it on there because they asked.
Vicky, any comment on this?
If it's not something that we've done before, I don't think we would be doing it now.
But I'd like to interject that on our website, it does say that you have to have the courses in. If you have something that's equivalent that you're seeking credit for, that has to be in 90 days prior to the due date. But then again, we were accepting courses or approving courses in December.
Yeah, the only thing, the only one that came through with an explanation was the one from Fred Harrington, correct? Did the others have explanations too? Did they have this form filled out?
No, they just sent an email.
Before we go down the list, does anybody have any general comments to say about this? Shauna, Maria, Norris?
Well, I have the same issues as you have. I mean, in the past, we didn't allow it. If it came after May, you have to do it before the time period. I guess you could arguably say they don't expire until April 30th, but it is a little different. But why would they not come sooner? Because what if we say no? If we say no, then they don't have enough hours anyway. So you can't wait to January or February.
Norris, any comments? Maria? All right, so the way I'm kind of looking at this is, first of all, Deb, all these people submitted the hours on time, submitted their courses, uploaded their courses on time, even though they weren't approved.
I did not look to see if those particular courses, were submitted. They just sent them to me. So I can't confirm off the top of my head.
Okay, so
Then Debbie,
Yes,
excuse
sir.
me, Mr. Chairman, can you look real quick or?
I'm
do we
log,
have- or
yes,
should we-
I'm
or
logging
should we
on.
Or should we just table this and move on?
So I'm in line to what Norris just said, because here's why. One, I think it would be prudent to have Jerry here to bring a little more history. Sean and I have only been here only 10 years, and Jerry's been here longer. But two is, I'm inclined to believe that there may be some more that might pop up, all right?
Okay,
And three, I think we're, by tabling it, we're giving some thought to the fact that, do we accept these people as a one-time shot or not? And the fourth, I can count higher, but the fourth, I'm thinking out loud now, is if in the past, if somebody came in and we found out that they didn't submit their hours. For instance, we've had people come before us, that one gentleman who didn't do anything and said he did, we would fine them. Okay. So I think we need to have a table this to have a discussion of, okay, are we gonna just accept these people, these five? Are we gonna fine them? Or are we gonna, not accept them, etc. And I just think we need to think it through a little bit longer. Anybody disagree with that?
I don't have an issue.
All right, so Deb, can you find out if they have been if they all submitted the hours on time,
okay.
and then who has submitted late? That's a different issue. So if they submitted their hours and took the classes the first week of February and then came through, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Does anybody want to comment on this? Deb?
I mean, I agree
I-
with what you're saying in terms of getting clarification, because again, this is new water, new territory, if you will. And, we need to be consistent in what we're doing, but also know how it is we think it is best to proceed.
Yeah, because I just think there might be one or two coming in, and then all of a sudden we start finding that one or two coming in saying no, then, they're going to look back and say, well, you approved these, how come not us? That kind of thing. I didn't know. There are certain professional groups out there that have been, promoting this. I know the appraisal law classes have been, but if someone took an appraisal law class early on in the cycle, they might not have the opportunity to understand this. So I'm just thinking there might be a couple that. And Deb, has there been anybody that you're aware of? Have you gone through to figure out if anybody hasn't submitted any hours yet?
Yes, I was waiting to get to that though, until you were done with what you were saying. So hold on a second. I just got a number. Just 1 second, please. So I have the number of those that submitted. Okay. So this is the number I didn't have, was we have a total of 1,287 licensees, 1287. We've got 622 622 RCRs, 588 RCG, and 77 RSPs. Just check this for a second. I said I didn't transpose those. RCRs are 622 RCRs. Yes, I said that. Okay, cool. So out of that number, 1,287, we have confirmation that 381 individuals uploaded their CE between the time period of October 1st through January 31st. There may have been others that uploaded prior to October 1st, but I don't think that there have been many. We ran a quick report last night, and I was asked to pick a date to a frame of reference there. So I just chose October 1st because it just seemed that October 1st, during the month of October, I started getting emails about how do I upload. So, but there could have been more.
So how many years that, did I hear that right? Did you just say 300? That's a quarter.
381. Mm-hmm.
It's only a quarter of the people upload it?
Yeah. So I'm not sure if many of them didn't realize that the due date changed, or if they didn't realize they needed to upload. I know that our schools had been telling them that they need to send in their CE. I remember you guys asking me in December if I had received any emails or calls about problems uploading. And I said, well, starting to get a trickle, but it was manageable. January was insane. People were just emailing me, calling me, panicked. How do I upload? How do I upload? And I had instructions. So I was emailing the instructions out to the individuals, and they still couldn't upload. And honestly, I ended up having them send me their PDFs, and I was uploading it for them because I thought I cannot deal with a bunch of, panicked appraisers, because you know how we all get when the deadline's coming, so I just uploaded it for them, sent them a confirmation. But then I'm like, it can't be that difficult. What is going on? So I went in under, from the outside, I went in under my own license to see in the same process I would take to upload had I not been here. And I wasn't even recognized as having a license. I have the same user ID, the same password. I have it written down, and I copy it, like I'm typing it in, looking, and it wasn't. So I thought, okay, well, maybe I changed the password and I didn't remember. So I pressed the forgot my password link. It said, I don't have an email on file. How could that be? So I go in through, the DCP through e-license from my position here. My email is displayed correctly as it always has. So I thought, okay, well, I don't know that side of it, but there was a glitch someplace. So I don't know if the remainder of these people, the 1,287 people, if they ran into the problem, or, how many of them forgot that it was due. I don't know, John.
Okay, so I think we should make a motion to table underneath new business number 1, 2, 3, and 5, because 4 is a separate issue. Because and wait to see how this unfolds a little longer into March, because there may be people, and I'm wondering if it might be prudent to, I've used that word twice already, is if we kind of, when I say we, I mean you, Deb, make some calls to those who aren't showing that they uploaded, to see if they did upload, just to see if there's another issue out there, or if they just totally didn't know.
Well, I know that they did not upload because I
Yeah.
spoke with Jason last night, well, late yesterday afternoon, about running these reports. And he was the person that provided me with the number, 381 during that time frame that uploaded. We can, I can ask him to do the whole period from May 1st of 22 forward. And that didn't even occur to me, because being an appraiser myself, I know that people aren't taking typically their CE like 2 years prior to it being due, so that's my bad for suggesting October 1st, but,
Well, I know I taught Jackie's here, I think she's here, but I taught the law module, and I can remember the first time this came out, teaching the law module right after it. And so there may be some, but I don't think that's gonna be 800 people. I think it's just gonna be a handful, which means that either the word didn't get out there, which is really our fault, or, it's one thing if it's 5 or 10. It's another thing when there's, in this case, 800 approximately, then that's our fault for not getting it out there. And it may be that we might have to table this and discuss this in March, that, okay, we just, even though we said it was going to be January 1st, we give them till, the regular April 30th this cycle, and then nothing next cycle. I don't know. I'm just throwing, as an option to think about. Depends on how many there really are. But so I think if we can look into it a little bit more and then come back.
absolutely. I know and note it is on the website.
Yeah.
But you can't control somebody, looking on the website for the due date. I just go from my behavior as an appraiser when I was out there. I never looked at the website until I had to look at the website. And I found all my information of changes, from my colleagues and, taking courses and such. But that's just me. I'm thinking that maybe there might be others, that wait till the last minute. And then when they can't upload easily, look at the website and see that, holy cow, everything is due now. I have received emails from many reciprocals that that didn't know that the due date. But you know what? When I have sent many notices out, individually, when somebody gets a license, just saying, oh, your license approved, our cycle is this, blah, blah, blah. Not with instructions, obviously, because it wasn't that time yet. But and Jason sent me a date that in June of 23, another notice specifically was emailed to everybody, telling them about the change in due date. So, I mean, that's plenty of time that
I
they should
remember
have
that.
noticed.
That I remember. In fact, I was going to ask that because I thought I recalled that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
My
why don't
thought
we?
is, my thought is to allow us, meaning the department, the opportunity to look at this a little bit closer. I always say if the majority of the people didn't do what was required, then perhaps they didn't know what was required, or there was some internal problem. So let us take a look. We can send out another notice to say, hi, January 31st has passed. That's when it was due. It's now February, let's say 15th, if we did it tomorrow. And we need to have it, without penalty or something of that nature. Let us look at it and see how we can make sure that the information was conveyed to the public in a manner that the majority of them received it, because the numbers are just so skewed that it suggests to me that there are some other issues.
Okay, in light of that, there were other licenses, right? Plumbers, carpenters, whatever, that did this date switch too, right? Or are we the only
The
ones?
whole state switched to 90 days.
Yeah,
If you have
everybody
time,
switched to 90 days before. Yeah.
okay, if you have time, can you find out if other licenses are having similar issues?
Sure.
Or is it something that, we didn't do or something like that?
No, we can find out.
Yeah.
But you have to understand their numbers are so much greater. I mean, they got like 28,000, compared to.
Yeah, but if they come
Yeah.
back and say, yeah, I mean, look at us, we're saying 75% didn't respond.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
Okay.
if they come
Yeah, we
back
can
and
look.
say, yeah, 3% didn't respond or 10%,
We'll
well,
just
that's
say
different.
that other licensees, they don't upload their CE, so I don't know how
Oh, okay.
accurate we can get to that, but we can certainly look into it.
All right. Okay. All right. So somebody want to make a motion to table this just so we get it
I'll
official?
second the chairman's motion.
Can I make a motion? Okay.
You made the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. So now we got Zachary Stockmall, applicant review experience, log approval, and sample selection. Did anybody do that?
I sent that out to everybody.
Yep. We got
Okay, good.
Zachary. Where's Zachary?
I did pick 5, like appraisals to pick from. So
All right,
I'll
there you
just
go.
email. Probably the easiest thing is probably for me to email it to you, Deb, right?
Okay, yeah, no, that's perfect.
Okay, so that's done. All right, so now we'll move on
I'll make
to,
the motion to approve the log.
make a motion.
My
to approve
thought
the-
is it possible, I mean, I understand she's emailing, but just so that the record is complete to, Deb, once you receive it, could you at least put it on the record as to what the requests were?
I will.
Thank you.
I will. Before you, oh, so you have to make a motion to approve the log, get that taken
did.
care of.
Somebody want to make a
Yeah.
second on that?
I'll make a motion to approve the log.
Second? Maria or Norris?
Second.
All, any discussion? All in favor? Ayes.
Aye.
Okay,
Anybody-
before we move on to the next, topic here, or the next, section, we have, David and Christina Laporte that I'd like to add to this section of new business regarding, they'd like to speak about their experience with the PSI.
Oh, okay. Do we have to make a motion to have them do that, or is that?
I don't know, I thought we had to.
All right,
They probably put it down in comments or concerns when we went today.
Comments and concerns? Okay, however.
all right,
You're
let's
in
just
charge.
hold on, Mr. Mitchell, we'll be right with you. So let's just cruise through legal, any issues?
I have no issues.
Deb, you good?
I'm good.
DCP investigations?
Our open cases, oh yay, I forgot to write that down. We don't have any closed cases. I have a case that's going to go to, for a compliance meeting. Probably, I'm hoping by Monday. And I have to say that my time was just taken up by uploading PDFs for the appraisers. But, yeah. Oh, and I have one appraiser that, I reported to the National Registry, which you guys know about. Well, you don't know that I reported him, but it was that one that was last month, it was, one closed case. So I ended up reporting him to the National Registry.
All right, so that's enough of, so now we're under comments and concerns, and then we're gonna come back to old business. So comments and concerns, you want to state your name, for Laporte, state your name and address for the record, and
Christina Laporte, 44 Marguerite Street.
Yeah, and and my address, 65 James Avenue, Southington, Connecticut. Good morning.
morning. Welcome, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So you're here to tell us about your experience?
Sure.
So we've talked about this probably, I think this is our 3rd time now with the exam. I recently took it again on January 12th. And this is my 6th time taking the exam. And I haven't got I managed to get between a 62 and a 69 all 6 times. And I previously have also said that I have gotten certifications from Appraisal Scholar, Examstudy.com, Course URA. I was paying for those for study material in addition, and I can't seem to pass the test. And I took the general exam. I believe it was the first 2 times I was given the wrong exam. And now when I go on to PSI, if you go for PSI test takers, there's 4 different categories. There's Connecticut Appraiser Program Details, Connecticut Appraiser CT Certified General, Connecticut Appraiser CT Certified Residential, Connecticut Appraiser CT License. If I click on Connecticut Appraiser CT Certified Residential Appraiser, it says I'm not eligible for a general appraiser exam or a residential appraiser exam. However, if I click the program details, I could book it, no problem. And I know that essentially you guys are also not affiliated with PSI, but I'm just wondering, like, who's writing the exam, or is it being reviewed in any way?
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I've had concerns even when I took the test, I don't know, about 20 years ago, probably, that a lot of the content really wasn't relevant to, really appraisal. And, for Chrissy to purchase the study exams, and pass them with, great scores. She stopped in and you got a book from someone, right? Didn't you get a book?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she went to the department and someone gave her books and, study
That was
this.
you, John.
That was
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Oh, okay, great. We appreciated that. So, studying along with her and, passing all of these study ones, I don't think there's much communication between PSI and what's out there between, study materials to help you pass the test. And here it is 6 times later, all in the 60s. It's, I don't know when the last time PSI has been updated or audited, or is the content relevant? It's extremely frustrating. Plus, I'm going to be 65. I have no one to leave my business to. So besides Chrissy.
Yeah, and for McKissick, I have like printed out, and I can send them also in an email, like the progress exams. I've got 94, 90, 85, 96, and 84. So even through McKissick, I'm doing fine. And then it's just this one exam can't seem to get.
And I don't know if she's taking the right exam. We can't get anywhere with PSI to
Yeah.
find out if she is taking the correct exam.
Okay, so it sounds like we have a couple of concerns here. So the first one, the simplest one, is clicking on the residential and then telling you that you're not qualified to take it. So Deb, is that something we can go back to your tech guy for the state, who is the liaison
Well,
with PSI? Because this is not the
absolutely.
first time we've heard this. We've heard this before, that people can't kick the test. I know Christina, who works for me, was on here last month and got approvals, immediately went to sign up for the test, and they gave her a date late in March. So instead of giving her more, a current date. I don't understand that either.
Well, yeah, the reason that I was told about that, and again, we're not PSI, is that there's not very many people looking to take the appraisal exam, so they don't offer it frequently. They'll just, that's what I was told. They just sporadically offer it. I don't understand that, because it's a computer-based program.
So the other issue is this, it doesn't make sense, I hear it say. So if you can find out about that. The second thing, find out about this clicking on, this is not the first time this has come up where they've clicked on the thing. And the third thing I also want you to ask is restroom breaks. Apparently they don't allow, it's like a 6-hour exam, correct? And they say you can take a restroom break, but the restroom is way down around the hall in another part of the building, and they can't get there and get back in time. So I think that's a concern that I think we should, that it may seem trivial, but it's one little thing adding stress to something that's very important to that person in that point in their life.
Absolutely.
So that's the first thing. The second thing on the questions. So it's my understanding that and there was recently on the USPAP I forgot what it's called, that podcast they come out with weekly, The Voice, whatever it is, just came out with a podcast within the past couple of months on how those questions are selected. So those questions are actually come from the Appraisal Foundation segment, and they actually go through, update those. They have a select group that actually, they go out and take a test group and sample those questions to see how they are, etc. I don't know if those questions get altered by PSI or anything like that. So that might be another thing, Deb, that we take a look at to see if there's any change between the suggested test questions and not, because it's my understanding that McKissick and the Appraisal Institute and the other, or when they're given these test questions, are in line with what they're supposed to be, their training, what's supposed to be known for that. So I don't know that. So if we can find that out. And I guess the last thing is, no offense, don't take me wrong, but just going to ask this, do you have any type of learning disability like dyslexia or anything like that, which you may need a assistance with the next time taking the test?
Yes, and I did ask to not take I just wanted pen and paper, because I also think the questions sometimes are like 8 sentences long with 12 different numbers and writing up and down to do the proper math, but they denied a paper and pencil test.
So all right, Deb, can we find out? Because they're supposed to be offering assistance to those who, and they
Yes.
say that. I believe they say that.
Yes.
We went through this before.
Mm-hmm.
They say that. So if we can find that out too. And then, all
Mm-hmm.
right, did I get everything?
Yeah, in regards to the restrooms, yeah, they say 3 minutes or they disqualify you from the test. So that's definitely a
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
And I've heard this before because Zach took it and he was like, he had, so it's not the first time that thing has come up.
So this is Pamela Brown, the Director of Investigations. What facility or location is this for this exam with the restroom break issue?
West Hartford.
Did Zach take his at West Hartford too, John? Do you know?
He says, I can ask him, but I'll find out. I can find
Okay.
out and email you. But I believe that they're all in one location, right? Is there a Southington location too?
And I
No.
believe there's a Milford location, but West Hartford seems to be booking them more frequently than Milford. I only heard of one for Milford, and I forget his name, but he took it in Milford
Yeah, when
recently.
I see if I was eligible, they don't even have a test. The only test they have available if I were to take it again is March 18th, and that's it for the entire month of March.
Okay. I think that's when Christina's taking it too. All right. Let's just find out some more information and then come. Thank you very much for coming in, and don't give up. Don't give up. Don't get discouraged.
I would like to ask, is there a limit as to how many times that Christina can take the test before she needs further approval from the commission?
I don't think there is. I know we've had people who have taken the test more than what she has and then
Okay,
eventually pass it.
okay.
So I don't think there
Yeah,
is.
I mean, yeah, I appreciate your time. That's concerning to me, but but it is what it is, you know, and like it's a very tough industry with so few people getting in it. You know, I mean, I don't know how many were last year, but when I looked it up, it's like 2 people, and most of us are, you know, 50s and over in this industry, and it's I don't know, maybe it's just all going to be data collectors and hybrid appraisals. You know, it's I don't know if that's where it's going, but it's very discouraging.
Christina, could you email me like a detailed list? I don't want to miss anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's good. And one other thing, Pamela Brown again. Christina, I think you might have to ask for, and I don't know if you've already done it, the accommodations ahead of the examination.
Yes.
So you have done that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. We actually have a representative from PSI in our building today doing a content review of another exam. So I'll see if I can ask some questions today.
Oh, wonderful.
That's
Thank you.
great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know the assessors, I got a call a couple of years ago, I'll call him back, from one of the a senior assessor in the state that was concerned about the pass fail rate and actually was surveying other states to find out what it was. Now, I know on that, so I'll reach out to that, but I know on that podcast that I heard, and I'll see if I can get that to Debbie, and maybe Debbie can get it to all of us. They did talk about the pass fail rate, and for some reason 60% sticks out of my head. So you're not alone. It happens, and most people have to take it 2 or 3 times. So it's not don't feel
Yeah, John, you're right. I looked that up myself and you're right. It's in the 60s. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay, all
Great.
right,
Uh,
thank you.
Just one last thing.
Yeah.
Christina, since there is a representative in the building, after you log off here, could you please get me that list, you know,
Yes.
as detailed and as quickly as possible so I can forward it to our director and then she can give it to that person? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Right.
And
Thank
Thank
Christina, and I don't know if you're available today, but maybe Debbie, if you get a hold of that person might want to, that rep Pamela, I don't know, that's up to Pamela, but talk to you too.
Okay,
So,
Fantastic.
that'd be great.
all righty, thank you. Thank you for
Great.
coming in and expressing this. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Okay, all right, so now the last thing we have to talk about is old business, correct?
Yes.
So old business,
Old business, what do we
Is
have here?
everybody there?
Hi,
Discussions, qualifications, and approval process for course instructors. We tabled this from January.
do you want to table it to March? So Jerry's included?
I think that's a good idea. And the other thing that I want to bring up is I was on a course just recently, and I know I called Shauna and talked to her about it because she did a situation. She was auditing in a class. Shauna, correct me if I'm wrong. But Shauna was auditing in a class, started it in her office, picked up her phone and listened to it all the way home. There was a gentleman on a class that I was on who kind of did the same thing. He logged in from his office, then logged out, then I may not be exactly correct, but the next thing you know, he was driving in his car, looking down periodically at his phone, or looking down at something, and the camera was on his dash. So he was on camera. So I don't know if we have any requirements for these online classes. I know we've talked about it, but I think we found that it was up to the schools to monitor it, but I don't know if we've ever given any guidelines to the schools. This was before your time, Deb. Vicky might remember, but we had brought this topic up, and so I was wondering if you could look into seeing if we, in your spare time, look into see if we had ever, maybe in previous minutes, ever agreed to notify the schools, you know, if that's acceptable behavior, if it's not acceptable behavior, if we had some sign of thing, if maybe other commissions around the country have done, somebody's got to say something, because I just can't see how you can be driving and listening and absorbing a class. Unless you're
That is
Sean.
a very good point.
I purposely did it to see if they were gonna say anything to me. Because I was just auditing the class. I wasn't taking it for continuing ed. I was seeing what they would do, and they did nothing.
They probably did nothing because there's no guideline or anything that says they have to do anything, you know, other than making a comment to the person individually to say, hey, don't do it again. But I think, you know, every now and then there's going to be a circumstance, but I just wondering if we had already decided that. I can't recall, or if there is any guidelines, we have any of that in our regulations or anything like that at all.
I'll find out. How far you want me to go back? How many years?
I've only been on the commission 10 years. I always think it was it was just before COVID, a couple years before COVID
Okay,
that we talked about this. But if you don't get to it by March, we can kick it down the road till April.
well, my thought is, I'll check back as many years as available, within that 10-year frame, as long as, yeah, as long as they're available, which I'm sure
Yeah.
they are.
I-
However, if I don't find anything there, I'll reach out to the schools and ask their policy. And just have that information for you, because I don't think that would take that long, maybe a couple of days or so, but I'll get something for you.
All right, because you know, it's not, I don't think it's gonna make a difference now, but if we work on it and come up with something, and then, you know, in the summer or whatever, then we get notify the schools for the next cycle.
Yeah, I mean, that just liability right there. I mean, you're not supposed to be texting and driving. How are you supposed to be taking a course for CE while you're driving? That makes no sense. That's just dangerous. It's dangerous to the public, so no.
But it puts the people who are you know, watching over the class, it puts them in an awkward position, because you know, I've been on a class where there was a guy who kept answering his phone one time and not turning off his mic. You know, you have these things, and, you know, I can understand a call now and then, but it's obvious that some of these people are just not really paying attention, so.
Right. And I would also question too, if they would say anything to Shauna, because you're the commissioner, you know, and I feel like maybe they would just not say anything to you because of that fact. So
I called them out on it. So I mean,
good,
I had
okay,
a issue with them back then, and I let them know that that was unacceptable.
good.
So,
Okay. All right, are we,
We have
so,
to go back to Zach, because I have the list that Shauna gave me of the sample selection. I just want to read them in, if that's okay.
yep, go ahead.
Okay, so we've got, you ready, Rochelle?
I'm ready.
Okay, 1225 Chopsy Hill Road, Bridgeport. 653 Daniels Farm Road, Trumbull. 5 Boulder Ridge, Monroe. 349 Lincoln Road, Cheshire. And 117 Central Ave, Waterbury, and that's it for Zach Stockmall.
Can
Wow,
you
that's
spell the road for the first one? Chopsy Hill? Is it
1225 Chopsy Hill Road, Bridgeport.
CHOPSEY?
Oh, Chop, yeah, CHOPSEY Hill
Perfect.
Road.
That's what I
2
got.
words, Chopsy Hill. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You were
Okay.
saying, John?
No, I think we're done. We have anything else to cover? Anybody have any concerns or anything? Anybody from the public want to bring anything up? Pamela, Vicky? Okay,
All set.
No. All set.
all right. Very simple meeting. Anybody somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to
adjourn.
So I think I heard
Second.
Maria make the motion and Nora second it.
second it.
All in favor? Aye.
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 All right, that's
See you
it.
next month.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
Okay,
everybody.
thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Hey, everybody.
Bye-bye.